Welcome to the Wonders of the Word. I'm Janine, your host, and together we're going to explore. We're going to explore the depth, the beauty, the power, and the mystery of God's Word. My mission as a messenger to you is to inspire, to encourage, to lift you up, to motivate, to challenge, and to restore. Because it is His Word that is truly wonderful and full of wonder. Today's message: there will always be a tree. Let's dive.
This message touches on temptation, redemption, and restoration. But today, we begin with temptation. Temptation, according to the Bible, was first introduced in the Garden of Eden. Most of us know the story. God placed Adam and Eve in a garden filled with good things. Every tree was good for food, and they had access to them all, except one. There was one tree they were forbidden to touch, the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Now, here's the first wonder. Why was the tree even there in the first place? Why did God place something they weren't supposed to touch in the middle of their paradise? Let's consider it this way, shall we? Imagine a man who lives in a village with only one woman, his wife. He loves her, stays committed to her daily, and never strays. Is that what makes him faithful? Now imagine 4 new women come to the village, beautiful, alluring, and mysterious. They express interest in him, but even with their attention and appeal, the man chooses to return home to his wife. Now that is what reveals his faithfulness. See, faithfulness can't be measured until there's another option. See, love has no depth without choice, and that's the key. The presence of the tree in Eden wasn't about inflicting pain. It was about the dignity of choice. Without choice, love would be robotic, faith would be not a thing. But God wanted relationship. God wanted something real. Another note, let's look at this temptation thing a little deeper here. See, temptation wasn't a thing at first. Temptation became real, not because of the tree, but because of perspective. See, Eve wasn't interested in the tree until her view of it was changed by deception. That's where temptation begins, when perspective shifts. So no, the tree wasn't placed in a garden to punish. No, it was there to create space for real love, real trust, and real obedience to be. The tree was not about restriction. It was about relationship. Our obedience becomes authentic when we choose it. In 2 Samuel, chapter 11, verses 2 to 4, King James Version. And from the roof he saw a woman washing herself, and the woman was very beautiful to look upon. So who was this fellow watching this woman on the rooftop? It was King David himself. King David was watching a woman called Bathsheba. And if you know anything about this story, you know David wasn't where he was supposed to be. And instead of leading his army into battle, he was idle, therefore vulnerable. And from that rooftop, he saw a woman. She was his forbidden tree. His decision to go down and lie with that woman led to lies, adultery, and even murder. And certainly, if you want to read a little more into this story, please, by all means, go to 2 Samuel. But the lesson here is, he went to lie with a married woman. This was his forbidden tree. His temptation grows strongest when we aren't where God has called us to be. Let's look at another story, shall we? Let's look at the story of Joseph and Potiphar's wife. In the book of Genesis, chapter 39, verses 7 to 10, it says, "How then can I do this great wickedness and sin against God?" That was Joseph speaking. Because Potiphar's wife was deeply attracted to Joseph. And as a result, she was persistent in trying to get Joseph to lie down with her. Joseph had the power to do so. He had the privacy, and he had persistent pressure on him. Day by day, Potiphar's wife tempted him. She was his forbidden tree. But, unlike Adam or David, Joseph ran. And sometimes that's what we got to do. We got to run when a temptation perhaps may be that thick or persistent. But the key here is he chose obedience, though it cost him. He chose obedience. And another key from this is, sometimes obedience leads to difficulty before reward. But you have to always remember, obedience always leads to God's favor. Let's be honest. Sometimes we wish God would just remove the temptation altogether. Why allow desires we must deny, relationships we must walk away from, ambitions we must lay down? But the key is, perhaps we're seeing it the wrong way. Remember when we talked about perspective? Perspective can change things. What if that tree isn't a trap the way we think about it? What if that tree is a training ground? Perhaps that's a better way to think about it. A place to prove your growth, a space to show your love, a moment to demonstrate your trust in God. So, changing your perspective about a forbidden tree can be a game changer. However, say in your circumstance you already touched a forbidden tree or forbidden trees, and you are feeling the weight of it, the fall of it. You can feel the pain of it ripple all throughout your life. Are things over for you? Certainly not. That is why the next tree we're going to talk about is so mightily important. It's the tree of the crucifixion. We will talk about this next episode, this tree. Dare I say, This is the most important tree of them all. But before we go, wait.
Did you know that there is yet another significant tree in the garden? There's always a tree.
Yes, that other significant tree is what you call the tree of life. You hear about it in Genesis. You hear about it in the book of Revelation and through slithers throughout the Bible.
Oh, it gets deeper. It gets deeper. So there are 3 trees here that I would like to bring forth to you that closes in the message of temptation, redemption, and restoration. Until next time, my dears, keep close to the Word. Make sure you change your perspective, if need be, about those trees in your life. You recognize them when you see them, and you say, me not partaking is me showing my faithfulness, my growth, my love, and the power of my choice. So, my dears, be blessed, and I can't wait to see you next time when we dive in to the wonders of the other trees. Bye now.